What's up, everybody? How you doing? Coach Dimitri here. Welcome to the first edition of Body Type Fridays, okay? And what I want to do here is every Friday, I want to answer some questions that have been brought to us from the viewers, from our YouTube channel. For those of you who have not heard of my YouTube channel, please go to Dimitri Giankoulas today, subscribe, because you're going to learn a lot about body type training, okay? I got a bunch of questions here. I printed them out. We actually have 1, 2, 3. We got about 6 pages of questions that have come through from the viewers. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to answer 5 questions for each body type so you guys can learn about body types and so you guys can be more well prepared when it comes to health and fitness and getting your goals, okay? So firstly, my name is Coach Dimitri from Vaughan, Ontario in Toronto, and we're going to talk about body types, okay? If you do not know about body types, you've never heard of it, it's a theory developed by Dr. William H. Sheldon in the 1940s. He was a psychologist who wanted to come up with a way to classify people's genetic type with their body composition, with their structure, with their, with the way their body looks in terms of structural levels. But the one thing that he failed to do was he wasn't able to put together the classification of personality type. He tried thinking and saying that, the ectomorphic person is very rigid, they're kind of anxious. The endomorphic person is more lazier. So because back in those days, they didn't really buy his philosophy. They understood that from a body type standpoint and from a standpoint of fitness and physicalities, it was working. But when it came to the breakdown of the personality types, it didn't really jive. So they kind of gave him the X. However, when it comes to athletes, when it comes to people in sport, especially any type of sport that requires physique changing, and I'm talking about body composition, lean mass, fat mass, bodybuilding, fitness pageants, anything that has to do with changing the amount of tissue you have in your body, this in my eyes is the end and all. So let's go through them first. I'm going to start off with the mesomorphic body type. For those of you who don't know the mesomorphic body type, and if you want to copy this, please go to puremotivationfitness.com. You can download your free copy of the ebook and you can learn a lot about it. If anyone's watching right now, give me a thumbs up so I know you can hear me, and we shall begin. So the mesomorphic body type is someone that typically has wider shoulders, narrow waist. They gain, they lose weight. Okay, they got small joints, they got a muscular build, and throughout their life, they've either gained weight easily or lost weight easily. Okay, that's the mesomorphic body type. If this sounds like you, pay attention. So first and foremost, question number 1 is, do mesomorphs have big thighs? Okay, typically the mesomorphic body type will be more muscular in general. Okay, they won't have muscular thighs and a weak upper body, they'll have muscular all around. The only difference that distinguishes one mesomorph that's muscular and strong and lean versus one that's overweight and has a high amount of body fat tissue is their nutrition and their training. So you're not going to have a body type that's got bigger legs and a smaller upper body. All that pear shape, triangle shape that you hear from textbooks, don't pay attention to it, because when it comes to body type, it really comes down to your somatotype, your metabolism, the bone structure, how tall and long your bones are, the joint articulations, do you have small, narrow joints, and in terms of can you gain weight and lose weight easily, okay? So that's one. So are endomorphs stronger than mesomorphs? Now, when it comes down to it, pound for pound, the endomorphic body type is the one that's got a slow metabolism, wide joints, wide shoulders, wide waist. They have a heavier set body. If it comes to sheer strength, and we're looking at power for power, and we have a 30-year-old athlete that's an endomorphic athlete, and we have a 30-year-old mesomorphic athlete that's training together, I believe that the endomorphic body type will succeed in natural strength. That means pushing, pulling, carrying a log, moving weight. However, due to the fact that the mesomorphic body type has more fast twitch muscle fibers and typically can go both ways, in the long run, they will probably succeed when it comes to the endurance or the cardiovascular aspect of exercise. But when it comes to sheer strength, the endomorphic would win, endomorphic body type. How do I know if I have a mesomorphic body type? Okay, very simple. One, you should tell yourself between the ages of 18 and 25, are you able to gain and lose weight very easily? If that sounds like you, if you have small, narrow joints, small knees, small ankles, and you notice that you have a muscular body, and when you turn sideways, you're pretty dense, okay? Then you know that's a mesomorphic body type. Another way to tell is for females out there, for all you females that are training, and you notice that when you lift weights, you bulk up really quickly, that's a sign of having mesomorphic body type. Can you be a fat mesomorph? That's a funny question. Guys, girls, you can be a fat anything. You can be a fat ectomorph, which is called skinny fat. You can be a heavy set mesomorph, an endomorph. Body types, all types can gain body fat. They can also lose weight as well. Typically, the mesomorphic build will gain weight easily as you get older, okay? That's a staple, okay? If you're 25 years old and you're a mesomorphic build, chances of you being able to burn the body fat off are much stronger at 25 versus 45 or 55. However, naturally, you're not the heavy set build. The endomorphic body type is that one. And if anyone is getting confused by the names, go to puremotivationfitness.com, download this ebook. It'll help you out because, guys, realistically speaking, and gals, if you're trying to burn body fat, okay? Where's my body fat there? If you're trying to burn body fat and you're following the program from some Instagram sensation, someone on YouTube, someone from a P90X program, and you don't break it down based on body type, you're going to struggle. Okay. Lastly, the last question is, how do I know if I'm an endomorph? Okay. So this question was thrown into the mesomorph area. Very simple. You first look at wrist and ankle articulation. So you have wider set joints, wider neck, slow metabolism, wide shoulders, wide hips. When it comes to losing body fat, it's impossible to drop down body fat. And you've noticed this from a long time ago. If you got a cough, head outside. Next, we're going to talk about the ectomorphic body type. This is the one that I am, okay? I'm the one that has a fast metabolism. I've always struggled to lose weight. Let me see if I can zoom into the picture there. There's one there. Those of you who are following us on Facebook and those of you on YouTube, okay? The ectomorphic build is someone that's typically taller, small, thin joints, long limbs, fast metabolism. This is the hard gainer, okay? I've had this all my life. I'm 44 years old right now, and if I don't eat 3,500 to 4,000 calories per day at 44, that's almost 2.5 amounts of calories of a regular individual. Let's say a 1,500 calorie person, I eat 2 times that plus. So if you don't watch what you eat and if you don't train, you will burn muscle tissue or you will lose weight faster. First question, should I put down where they're calling from? So this one is from someone in Victoria, BC. Are ectomorphs weak? Now, ectomorphic people typically will be weaker when it comes to lifting weights. Why? Well, one, you look at strength in terms of a lever system. If the person's 6'2", they got long limbs, okay? When they're bench pressing, they got a lot more range of motion to push. Number two, if they're looking at when it comes to caloric consumption, if they're not eating a lot of calories to maintain and have those calories, stored in them, they're going to burn them fast. So when they go to the workout, they're going to run out of energy and gas out, okay? And then also you want to look at the ectomorphic body build was meant for endurance. If you look at soccer players, basketball players, you look at tennis athletes, except if you're looking at where are the names here? I'm trying to blank here. Oh, Serena Williams and her sister, okay? Those are 2 mesomorphic females I have in my booklet, which talks about the body type. But typically, ectomorphic individuals are going to have a harder time putting on weight and being stronger because their body's not built to lift big weight. The meso and the endomorphic body types will succeed. That's why when you look at bodybuilders or guys that want to get big or girls that want to get bigger and stronger, not only do they got to train with more compound exercises, not only do they need a lot more rest in between the workouts, but they need a lot more calories as well. Especially when it comes to their carbohydrate percentages, they need like 45 to 50% carbohydrates, 30% protein, 20, 25 fat. Next question from a gentleman in Brazil. Forza Brazil! Should an ectomorphs run? Okay. Now, I believe all ectomorphic people should have 1 day of cardio per week. You can mix the cardio in by skipping rope, hitting bag, you can using an airline bike. You can mix your cardio by doing some supersets. But do I think you should be running a lot? No. If your goal is longevity of running, if your goal is to be able to do a marathon, got it. If your goal is to improve your cardio, got it. But if your goal is to build muscle tissue and you want to change your physique, you want to change the way you look, you want to change the size of your shoulders, the size of your quads, you want to put on some muscle, no. Stay away from cardio, it's not going to work. This is from the UK. Should ectomorphs do HIIT training? Okay, great question. Now, HIIT training is high intensity interval training. So example is, high bouts of a workout and then drop down for a quick intensity rest and then back up and then back down. So let's say the person's going to be doing deadlifts followed by skipping rope, heavy bench press followed by ball slams. Depends on your goal. If your goal is to become similar to a CrossFit athlete, if your goal is to become stronger, if your goal is to have more of a cardiovascular build, sure, go ahead. But if your goal primarily is to gain muscle mass, especially if someone is just starting off in their teens, early 20s, no, I suggest you stick to compound lifts, more of a bodybuilding lift, more of a legs, chest, back routine, a power adaptation. You can switch it up to a push-pull hypertrophy phase as well, but you do not want to give the body the ability to do a heavy set of deadlifts and then right away do an active rest, because this body type requires heavy set, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes rest. A heavy set, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes rest. You need to recuperate. You need to build up that ATP, that creatine phosphagen to get back and train. If not, you run the risk of burning A, way too many calories, which is a great workout for the endomorphic body type. But B, when the epoch effect kicks in, EPOC, and your body's burning calories for 24 hours, after that, you got to stuff a lot more food in your body to catch up and maintain for that. So no, I do not think that. This from the Philippines. What's up, Philippines? How do ectomorphs get big? Okay. I'm a prime example of how ectomorphs can get bigger naturally without drugs. I'm 44 now. I weigh about 194, 195 on a great day. And when I first started training, I started training in grade 9, end of grade 8, and I weighed about 140. So to gain that amount of weight, one, it's got to take time. If you're looking to put on 20 pounds of muscle mass and you're trying to do it right away, it's not going to happen. It's going to take time. If you gain 1 pound of muscle and body fat combined or a ratio every 2 weeks, you should be really, really happy. Because for me, it takes maybe 1.5 months to gain 2 pounds if I'm lucky. But how do ectomorphs get big? One, train 3 to maximum 4 days a week. That's it. 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off. Next, you want to look at eating a high carbohydrate diet. Everyone talks about protein. Everyone talks about how important fat is for you, but everyone forgets carbohydrates, which means, let me make a circle here. So I'm going to go carb, fat, protein. So if you're looking at my plate here, okay, boom, that's my carbohydrate. My fat's going to be up here and my protein's going to be down here. Half of your plate, ladies and gents, better be carbohydrates. And I'm talking really good carbs, not French fries, not candies. If you're looking to gain size, fruits are great for you, but you're better off with more of a slow, starchy, complex carbohydrate. Your long grain rices, your quinoas, your potatoes, your yams, your whole grain breads, your oatmeals. Heck, throw some cereal in there if you want to gain weight. Okay. You also have to have a ratio of protein to fat, but when you're looking at putting on size, ladies and gentlemen, my breakdown is 50% carbs, 20-25% of fats, and 25 to 30% of protein. Protein will help repair muscle tissue. Protein will help keep you full and making you feel like you have full satiety. Okay. Hello from the Ukraine. What up, brother? But protein, although will help build up muscle tissue, is not going to make you gain weight, because carbohydrates provide you energy. fat and carbohydrates provide you two types of energy. Carbohydrates can be slow or quick in the fact of, if I'm going to give you a cup of whole grain or brown rice versus a cup of grapes, you'll have quick energy from the grapes, but then you'll probably burn out within an hour. The pasta, the bread, the oatmeal, the quinoa, that's going to give you slow release of energy, 2 to 3 hours, which is what the ectomorph needs. However, if we're eating a cup of nuts or avocado or healthy fats, that's also going to give you slow, long duration of energy, and it's not going to give you the spike of energy of blood sugar. So if the endomorphic person that wants to lose 40, 50 pounds is looking at having a carbohydrate energy or fat energy, I would say go to the fat energy. But for those of you who are the hard gainers that want to build muscle, you got to stick to the carbohydrates in your diet. Lastly, hold on a second here. I missed my question. Here we go. Are ectomorphs tall? You know what? I'd say 80% of the time that you're looking at an ectomorphic person, they will be tall or taller. If they're not tall and they're 5'4", 5'5", they will be very thin bone, thin structured. I know many people, I have clients in the gym, I have online clients that I coach with my mobile training app, and they're 5'5", 5'6", they're ectomorphic, they're in their 40s, 50s, and they're very, very thin. The challenge of being an ectomorph is as you get older, you run the risk of burning more muscle tissue. You also run the risk of getting more arthritic issues because your bones and joints aren't as strong as the other two body types. And you're so bloody long and frail that if you're training, there's more chances of injury due to the fact that if you don't know how to properly leverage your lifts, for example, a tall 6'5" ectomorphic football player that's going to be squatting needs to go wider stance, pelvis out, and they can go low with their squat, but they got to have a wide base. If they stand shoulder width apart and they come down low, they risk the chance of putting too much load on their low back. So those are the questions for the ectomorph. Lastly, guys, let's hit him up. I'm running good on time. I got 5 minutes left. The endomorphic body type, okay? For the endomorphic body type, we're looking at Brian Shaw, okay? He's an example of an athletic endomorph. We're also looking at Andrea Thompson, who is a world strongwoman athlete. Okay, see over here. I'm going three-way here because we're going YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And for the endomorph, they typically struggle with weight loss, okay? So they should make sure that their diet does not completely lack carbohydrates, but it provides them at lunchtime and post-exercise. Other than that, an endomorph does not need carbs for breakfast. So if you feel you're endomorphic, you're waking up having a bagel, an apple, you're having cereal, you're having, some form of carbohydrate toast with your breakfast, wrong. You ain't going to lose weight. So can endomorphs be skinny? Yeah, man, anybody can be skinny. However, the difference between a skinny ectomorph and a skinny endomorph will be much, much different because the endomorphic body type will still be thicker, more heavier set. They got heavier bone structure. They got wider bones, and from a side profile, they're really, really dense, okay? Can endomorphs, this is cute. This is from a female in California. This says, can an endomorph have a thigh gap? For those of you guys and girls who don't know what a thigh gap is, a thigh gap is a test that a lot of women do when they stand together and they want to see if they can run their hand all the way up their thighs, up to the crotch area and all the way down. And typically, if you can do so, it's kind of like an old school saying that you're fit and you have lean thighs. However, I throw it out the garbage because you know what? Women that are muscular, CrossFit athletes, any type of athlete that trains their thighs will develop quadriceps, stronger hamstrings. So they probably will build that muscle tissue. However, endomorphs can have the gap. It's a little bit harder, but it can be happening. What can an endomorph be good at? Endomorphs are really good at power, strength, and torque exercises. They're not going to be good at endurance exercises. Should endomorphs do squats? Yes. Should they be doing squats with heavy weight? No. Should they be doing split stance movements? Yes, all the time. Should they be using progressive overload? No. they should be doing lighter weights than someone else, okay? Can an endomorph be ripped? Yes, an endomorph can be ripped. An endomorph can lose weight. It's just going to take a lot of time to do so, okay? And can an endomorph be a mesomorph? Well, not really. You can change the look of your body, but you can't change genetics. You can change the composition of your body, but you can't change the genetic build of it. And then lastly, what sports are endomorphs really good at? I would say especially football, rugby, powerlifting, shot put. You're not going to find endomorphs that are really good at long distance running. You're not going to find them in any sport that requires them to do endurance training. You may find them in a sport that has to do with accuracy, golf, archery, whatever it is. But typically the endomorphic male or female will not do well in sports with a long endurance because their body's not built for that. Now, it doesn't mean that's a bad thing, ladies and gents. It just means that you got to work with your body type to get the best results you need. And lastly, 2 questions. Are you born an endomorph? We're all born a specific genetic type. Now, if you take performance enhancing drugs, steroids, you could help speed up the effect of building muscle tissue, but then you're going to have side effects when you're older, which you don't want. So 1, cut that out. Number 2, if I'm built an ectomorphic by nature, I can build a lot of muscle tissue on me. And as you can see, I'm pretty dense from a side profile. You can see a lot of muscular tone, but I can't change genetics. It's in your genes. You can't do so. You can't change bone. You can change bone strength, but not bone density. Well, you can make your bone density stronger, but you can't change the size of your bones. You can change the size of your muscle and your body fat. And lastly, drum roll, please. No, I'm not going to answer that one. That's a dumb question. Can an endomorph be ripped? I don't like it. Is cardio good for the endomorph? Yes. The endomorphic body type requires 6 days of training. If you don't like that answer, too bad. The ectomorph has to eat 4,000 calories. You think they want to chew 4,000 calories a day? If I show you what I bring for lunch every day, you probably would get sick. I eat 1.5 cups of rice, pasta, or potatoes every meal for my first 5 meals, and my last meal is no carb. So if the endomorphs watching right now want to burn body fat, get on the cardio every morning, empty stomach. If possible, AM empty stomach, protein shake with 1/2 cup of fruit when you're done, and some peanut butter or your eggs and whatever you want after that. Try to do double set workouts, 1 early in the morning and then 1 in the evening. Because remember, the endomorphic body type needs to have a high caloric expenditure, but you can't be burning calories in 1 session midday and then expect that to be the best. If you break it up into 2 workouts, you'll get the best bang for your buck. That's all the time I got for today. My name is Coach Dimitri. For any people living in the Vaughan surrounding area, Vaughan, Ontario, we have a beautiful boutique fitness studio that specializes in body type training. And my team of coaches are the best in the city because not only do they follow the body type approach, but they will provide you the customized approach to training. They will give you the community that you need to become stronger, more healthier. And there's a culture between our members and our coaches, which is next to none. If you're watching this video on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and you are in another country, you're an international client, you are in Europe, you're in the USA, and you're stuck and you want to lose body fat and gain muscle, I can help you. I have an online coaching program that I provide nutrition counseling, training videos, and accountability for you every single week. DM me at Dimitri Giankoulas on Instagram, Dimitri Giankoulas on Facebook, and Dimitri Giankoulas on YouTube. Any questions you have, and I'm happy to help you out. And for those of you who are in the Vaughan surrounding area who message me the next 24 hours, we will give you a complimentary 7-day pass. For those of you who are looking for help that are not in Toronto and want help anywhere around the world, I'm happy to book a strategy call with you to assist you and give you as much tips as you need. Have a happy Friday. Let's kick some ass. And remember, when it comes to health and fitness, attitude is everything, baby. Peace.